Now, this episode, I've been seeing a lot of people online talking about how this episode was a filler, was boring, was slow. Guys, we literally just had an episode a week ago that one character that we've loved from the beginning and another one that we've loved since the second half of season 4, I have anyways, in two of the most brutal deaths that we've ever had, and tension with Carl almost losing his arm. This episode is not a filler episode. Sure, it's slower and quote unquote boring compared to last week, because that was a 6-month long wait coming to life on the screen. Finally, we find out who Negan kills. The tension with the Rick and Carl chopping arm scene didn't really happen, but the tension of that scene. Yes, this is a slower episode, but it's building up stories. And King Ezekiel, by the way, if you haven't seen this episode, spoiler alert, sorry, just thought about that. Well, if you watch this review, you probably already seen it, so whatever. But this episode was mainly designed to build up King Ezekiel, to build up Shiva, to build up the kingdom, to build up... I don't know if they are going this route. I'm getting this kind of feel for a Carol and Ezekiel romance. I don't know if that's going to happen. I just have that feeling from the scenes they had together. Especially that on the last scene on the park bench in front of that fire. I mean, maybe it's just me. I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know. I could see it happening, and I could see it not happening. It's one of those things that if it happens, okay. If not, whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. But this episode was, like I said, mainly was only trying to build up the kingdom, King Ezekiel, Shiva, Ben, or I think his name is Ben. The guy who Morgan's training in the kingdom. But it's just building up future stories. Filler episode. In my opinion, the definition of a filler episode is just that. It's a filler episode that is only designed to have an episode. It has nothing to do with the overall story. It's like, what's an example of a filler episode? The Governor episodes back in season 4. Dead Weight and Life Bait, I believe was the titles. Episodes 6 and 7 of season 4. Those were filler episodes, because the only things they really did was build up Tara. That's it. We could have dealt out those episodes. We could have just seen him pop up. I would have been fine. I don't know about y'all, but I would have been fine without those Governor episodes. Those are two of the worst episodes we've ever had, in my opinion. But Life Bait and Dead Weight are just unwatchable to me. I mean, I watch The Walking Dead every single year before the new season comes out every October. And those two episodes I just can't get through. I have to, I either go out and get something to eat, get something to drink. I just don't watch those episodes for the most part. I mean, me personally, I just can't stand those two episodes. But whatever, that's my opinion. I mean, there isn't that much that happens, yes, but it's building up future storylines that comic readers know that they're building. If you read the comics, you'll understand why I'm saying this is not a filler episode. They are building up the... I mean, heck, the Savers came into the probably middle of the episode and was that was pretty funny. When the kingdom people I don't know his name. He didn't really say that I can remember. But there was a guy that was working for the kingdom, and he was basically feeding pigs walkers. And at first, I was honestly thinking that they were feeding the pigs walkers because they wanted to beef them up for them, the kingdom people. I didn't even think about the saviors until they showed up. When they showed up, I remember that they fed the pigs walkers, and I figured out that's why they fed them walkers. That I just found funny and pretty smart. But I mean, that scene alone was, even if you never read the comics, that scene alone should tell you that they're building up. Because eventually, I honestly don't know when. If I had to guess, I'd say at the earliest, the ending of the second half, like episodes 14, 15, and 16. Those episodes will be the start of All Out War, which is the war with Negan. I can't see them seeing it being any earlier, because All Out War, it has multiple storylines in the overall story arc. Hopefully you guys will understand what I mean. I'm not going to get into spoilers because I don't know how much they are going to do exactly like it. I can see them doing some things. Yeah, I may do a video if y'all want it, just focused on the predictions of All Out War TV version. But most of the things I can't see them doing any like differences. Like, there's this next episode that's going to be focused on Daryl and inside the sanctuary, which is Negan's compound, the main home base of Negan. That this episode is going to be showing comic readers if they are going to go the same route with, I'll go ahead and say it, the same route with Dwight in the show. I'm not going to say what kind of route they go with the comics just in case, but this episode will show if they are going with the same route. I honestly think they are, but it's going to be a little different, I think, because of Daryl. But I'll just stop right there because I can't really say anything else without getting into potential spoilers. But this next week's episode should be showing comic readers if they're going the same route as with Dwight. But as for this episode, I've been going so much off the topic. I mean, this episode, I get it. The people who don't read the comics don't know what's coming. But coming from someone who has read the comics, guys, you'll see by the end of this story with Negan, the war with Negan, this episode won't be looked at as filler episode. I promise you guys that. This episode is probably just like last season with Morgan. That episode wasn't really spoiler either, because it explained why Morgan was the way he is. Even though I didn't like Morgan at that time because of All Life is Precious, it wasn't quite filler. It just happened at the worst time, I guess, because of the Glenn, the dumpster. That was the next episode. Oh god, yeah, that's probably why. Because that was the week after the Glenn dumpster. God, I've still gone off topic. This episode, I did like it. Even though it wasn't action packed, it made up what it lacked in action for a story. And people who don't read the comics don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what else to say. Okay. I got into some arguments with some of my friends with the CGI for Shiva. I honestly don't care how bad the CGI looks. It looks decent for a TV show. For movie standards, yeah, it looks not good. But for a TV show, it's decent, especially considering that I never even thought they would bring the tiger to the show. This episode was basically just an introduction for non-comic fans to King Ezekiel and the kingdom and Shiva and Jerry, the king of all puns. He's gonna become like the Abraham, the next Abraham, with his puns. But yeah, I did like this episode. To everyone who says this was a filler episode, it was a boring episode, anything like that, trust me when I tell you it was building up the story. It had to be done because of last week. We just had an pretty much action-packed episode last week, guys. Not every episode is going to be action-packed. Game of Thrones, not every episode is action-packed. Don't believe me? Look at season 4, I think, or season 5. Yeah, season 5. Look at season 5. Season 6, it was one episode that was really just action. That was the Battle of the Bastards. Other than that, Game of Thrones ain't action-packed either with all the other episodes. Y'all don't do this with Game of Thrones. Y'all don't do it with Walking Dead. I mean, I guess the internet everybody is spoiled with whatever. But trust me, this episode will pay off, guys. Don't be spoiled, because if you're gonna be spoiled, just stop watching this show, because it's gonna be disappointing week in and week out for the most part, because they can't do action packed every single episode. Sorry to disappoint you guys, but they can't. What's the difference? It's the internet. Whether they're trolls or actual people that don't like the episode, I really can't tell anymore with most of the people being trolls. Whatever. That's it for this video, y'all. As always, like me on Facebook at JamMash97. Follow me on Twitter at JamMash97. Links in the description below. Mash out.